Baseball great Dwight Evans is one of the best outfielders in baseball, and throughout his career, one of the most popular Red Sox players of all time. Dwight Evans, a three-time All-Star, eight-time Gold Glove Award winner, and won 2 Silver Slugger Awards, played in a couple of World Series, and was a key player on 2 legendary American League Championship Red Sox teams. He's got a memoir out now. It's called Dewey, Behind the Gold Glove, and Dwight Evans is joining me now on the Scott Sands Show. Hey, Dewey.
Scott, how are you?
Terrific. Real honor to have you on the show.
Well, great to be with you. I played to Toledo Mud Hen.
Yes.
I didn't play with them. I played against Louisville at that time.
What was it like to play? I think that was back in the old Ned Skeldon Stadium at the time.
Yes, it was. And it was old then, too. So, yeah, Toledo wasn't one of my favorite towns, but AAA, they always had good teams, Tigers, so I do remember that.
You'll have to come back and visit our brand new Fifth Third Field. Our studio is actually here in Hinsville. Beautiful facility. I think it's one of the best minor league ballparks in the country now.
I'd love to see that. I really would.
I can't wait to hear your story and everything about the memoir, Dewey, Behind the Gold Glove. But real quick, your thoughts on the Dodgers almost sweeping the Yankees in the World Series.
Yeah. I had no skin in the game. Only, I'm a Red Sox diehard, but I grew up in Hawaii, and then we moved back to California. I was born in Santa Monica. 8 months old, we moved to Hawaii back, started playing baseball at 10. But a team I followed were the Dodgers, and they were in the Coliseum at that time. They are the ones that came out of Brooklyn, so I kind of was pulling for the Dodgers. I really think that they had the better team. I feel bad for the Yankees that they lost so quick because Judge had just a spectacular year, and he's going to be the MVP. And Ohtani had an incredible year. He's going to be the MVP in the National League. And neither one of them really didn't do much. And that can happen in a World Series. And sometimes you can try so hard that nothing happens. So I know those two guys, they would have loved to have done better. But the Dodgers I was pulling for, I think they had a better pitching staff. I think the Yankees had more holes in their squad than the Dodgers, in my opinion.
Dewey, do you think these ball clubs have gotten out of hand with the amount of money they're willing to pay players? Their salaries are out of control, so much different than your time playing ball.
Well, it's funny. I remember when someone signed for $100,000, we were all going, how can the owners survive? And now I'm looking at, Ohtani signed, a $750 million contract that most of it's deferred. And, I don't know how they do it. No one really knows the books of the owners. I mean, there's still antitrust law keeps them quiet, and no one really knows what they make from radio or TV and what have you. So they must be able to still own a team and make money. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but they do it.
Yeah, I don't think they're hurting. I don't think we have to be worried about the owners at all. The other image, real quick, that stands out from this particular World Series was Game 4 with a fan in the crowd trying to yank the ball out of the outfielder's glove. I mean, did that happen when you were playing? What are your thoughts on fans? Are they getting out of control now?
Well, the Yankee fans. I mean, I remember a guy from the third deck threw a size 12 Bally shoe at me and just missed my head. And I was looking back up there and wanting to throw the other one because that's my size. And then I had one of them from the third deck threw a Jack Daniels bottle. If it hit me, I'm dead. But I did have a play like Mookie Wilson where I caught the ball and someone threw a beer right in my face and my eyes. Beer in the eyes burns. And after the game, I get a call. I'm getting ice in the trainer's room, and the trainer gives me the phone. It's George Steinbrenner. And he said, Dewey, you okay? And I said, I'm doing fine. But he says, I'm so embarrassed of what happened. he said, tomorrow when that game starts, there'll be more security in that area, so you won't have to worry about that again. And that was a nice phone call from him. And to see that guy take the ball out of Mookie Wilson's glove and then throw it back on the field, I mean, they got a perfect shot of it. I guess they threw him out, but it's emotions. And the Yankees, like the Red Sox fans, are very emotional. And I think if he had to do it over again, he wouldn't have done that. But, it was funny. I mean, it was funny just to see the guy take the ball out of the glove and throw it back on the field.
We're talking to the legendary Dwight Evans here on the Scott Sand Show. His book is Dewey Behind the Gold Glove. You've got an amazing story to share, not just your reflections of playing the sport of baseball, but also your personal life and the struggles that you've been through as well.
Yes, we lost both of our sons about 6 years ago from a disease of neurofibromatosis. They call it NF. And NF is something that it always turns into cancer. And it afflicts 3 times as many people as muscular dystrophy and cystic fibrosis combined. And yet nobody really knows about the disease. I mean, it affects so many people. So we've got a grant from the Red Sox, and they gave us a nice grant, and they said that none of that money is going to research. And I said, what do you mean? And then they said, well, we want you to put all that money trying to get the word out about NF, neurofibromatosis. And it still struggles. I mean, it doesn't have the big name of like a cystic fibrosis or muscular dystrophy, and it affects 3 times as many people as those 2 combined. So there's a lot of stuff in here. Hopefully it helps people that have lost children. It's dedicated to my wife, Susan. When a woman, I know when a man loses a child, it's tough. But when a woman loses a child, I've learned this, that part of that child goes with her, and because she carries that child. So it's a little bit more for a woman to lose a child, and hopefully there's a lot in the book. It's not just baseball, but it's life around baseball as well. And there's some good times in it, and there's some tough times in it. There's some chapters I just can't read anymore. I mean, it's too close to me.
Well, and I can certainly relate, Dewey. I've got a son who had a liver transplant when he was 9 months old, and continues to go through health struggles. And even though my ex and I don't always get along and see eye to eye on things, she's one of the toughest women I know. So I certainly understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's when it's your child, you're helpless, and it's so hard to go through. And I didn't. The one thing I didn't do is I didn't talk to my teammates about it. Only one guy, and that was Carl Yastrzemski. We were close enough, played 13 years together. But I didn't talk about it in the clubhouse. I didn't want people to say, well, he's having a tough time, and well, he had a bad game, and come some slack. I didn't want that. So I kept things tight to the chest. And 3 years ago, my wife came up with cancer, and she's doing great now. And so I said, if I don't start this book, I'll never do it. And it's a story that I think needed to be told. And it's a good read. I was nervous about when it came out, how it would be received, and it's been received. It's in its 3rd printing, and that's been released, and it's in 160 bookstores around the country. It's on Amazon, and it's doing really well. So I'm proud of the book. It's a lot of work, but I'm proud of it.
I'm glad you told your story. The book is Dewey Behind the Gold Glove. Dwight Evans here on the Scott Sand Show. I know we got to wrap things up, but I wanted to ask, what do you think it is about baseball that Americans have romanticized for so long?
Well, it's the game itself. I mean, it used to be, I think, even more so, the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and 80s. And it's part of America history. I mean, if you go back and watch some of Ken Burns' documentaries on when baseball started and all that, it just kind of gets the juices going. They played it for the love. And it's just it's a great game. It's a fun game, and it should be fun. So don't just take it too serious. And, what can I say to a kid? They always say to me, what would you say to a kid? I said, have fun. Play the game and have fun. That's what it's supposed to be. And it's a fun game. And it's, I think, bringing the pitchers to throw the ball quicker, 20 seconds in between pitches. I think that's sped up the game considerably, and the game was too long, and it started getting boring to me as well. So that has really helped. I don't like when they put somebody at second base on the 10th inning with nobody out. It's like a free run, and I don't get that. I don't like that. Slide too hard in second base, automatic double play. Slide too hard in the catcher, you're out. So those things were part of the game growing up, and we played that way. I was so happy I played when I played in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So,
well, Dwight, thank you for inspiring so many personally and athletically, and come check out a Mud Hens game.
Oh, I will do that, Scott. Great talking with you.
Thanks, Dewey.
Thank you.
Again, the book is Dewey Behind the Gold Glove, Dwight Evans, here on the Scott Sands Show.